Hello, everyone, and welcome to Second Saturday Seminars, Pentisol Second Saturday Seminars, and today is the April Second Saturday Seminar. So today we have with us Carlson and Danielson, who will be presenting about learning games as a tool for teaching idioms. Also, in May, I would like to let you know that we do not have a second Saturday seminar in May, but we have the PTE Spring Conference on Saturday, May 3rd. It is taking place at Temple University for the day from 8 to 3. So please make sure that you check our website for more information on the conference, and also make sure that you have completed your registration. We have a number of presentations lined up, and we have a full schedule for professional development. So it will be a great conference. We are looking forward to it. We usually have two conferences during the year, the fall conference and the spring conference. Also in June, we will have a second Saturday seminar on June 12th, the second Saturday in June, and please check our website for more information. And my name is Helen Fitzgerald. I am with the Penn TESOL East Board, and I'm happy to introduce our presenters. They're going to talk about gaming, learning games as a tool for teaching idioms, and they will talk about the idea that the lack of student motivation in ESL classes is a recurring issue. In two high schools in northeastern Brazil, this problem is attributed, among other factors, to prior exposure to teacher-centered pedagogical approaches and content disconnected from students' realities. So a potential solution to this challenge is the implementation of a teaching practice based on a learning game. Our presenter's proposed active learning experience introduces a card game specifically designed to teach idiomatic expressions. They will present a prototype of the game demonstrating how the acquisition of specific vocabulary can take place in a playful, inclusive, and engaging manner. This is so exciting. Now I will turn the floor over to Danielson and Kelson, who are actually joining us live from Brazil, which is amazing. So thank you for joining us live and for presenting today. So I turn the floor to you now to go ahead with the presentation. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Can I start sharing the screen?
Absolutely. Yes, please.
Time. Okay, sorry. Hello, everybody. It's a pleasure for me to be here sharing a little bit of my experience. I've been an English teacher for the half of my life for the last 23 years. And I had the experience to teach from children to adults. And I guess it's very interesting because I can use my experience in different audience in different publics. And now Denilson and I were participators of the BATS in 2024 in Philadelphia in Temple University. And this program was very relevant in our life because all the knowledge that we acquired there made us prepared to approach our classes in a different way, in a way that we can impact our students. So we're here today to talk about a game that Denilson designed first, and after that we improved the prototype. and to talk about some challenges to, can I say, to implement this teaching strategies in Brazilian context specifically. Uh, Today, we're going to talk about game-based learning. We're going to try to show the difference between game-based learning and gamification. That's the base of our project. And of course, how learning games works and how uh, we use it in our classrooms. We're going to talk about how difficult is make our students engaged, and how we tried to change the situation using a fun experience, trying to understand how they could be motivated. And of course, in this process, we're going to talk about inclusivity and the differentiation approach, because our game, our approach is based on the inclusivity of the diversity of different students, different persons that different people we work to. Um, First of all, the difference in game-based learning and gamification is in the fact that we are using games to teach. We're not using strategies of games uh, only. We created a game and we use this game to teach, in this specific case, idiomatic expressions. The project was born in a different context. Some years ago, about 10 years ago, I was teaching Portuguese language and using the course book of my students. And in the sections of the book, there was an approach about Brazilian Portuguese idiomatic expressions. In the sections, the author created pictures to translate the meaning of these expressions for our students. We need to think, we need to realize that Brazil is a huge country. It's a continental country, um, um, as big as the United States, maybe. And we got a huge diversity of accents, of the vocabulary. It's sometimes we think that when you are in a different part of Brazil, you are talking another language, something like this. And idiomatic expressions are in very interesting part of our lexicon. And we need to show them that the use of the language, even in their mother language, it's something that can be worked, thinking that sometimes language changes in time after time, place from place, and we need to use this language for a personal improvement. And use this in a funny way can be possible and measurable, maybe. Uh, my first experience, I asked my students to recreate the activity, but adapting from the Portuguese classes from English classes. And they need to follow the step-by-step used in the Portuguese activity. This is a sample of the activity where the students, different groups of students, receive different 10 different idiomatic expressions in English, and they need to translate the expression, try to understand the meaning of these expressions, try to translate it into a picture, and show to the another students to make a discussion. In the situation, they were free to create these pictures, drawing or searching different pictures from the internet, for example, or using AI. It's up to them. Okay, they were absolutely free to create this image. Before this class, in a previous activity, I gave a lecture explaining the concept of idiomatic expression, even in Portuguese first. And after that, they were able to start the confections of their works. Why this project was challenging? Brazil, you used to say that in Brazil we have a very specific situation when you talk about education. In one of the most relevant impacts in this case is the lack of relevance. What lack of relevance? Our students, the most of them are from, how can I say, low social status, and they cannot see, they don't have perspective of future. Most of times, even they cannot see that their lives can change because of the education. It's difficult to say, but it's the truth. In these last 23 years that I have taught, I had more than 1,000 of students each year. And the situation is repeating year after year. One almost unbelievable fact of Brazilian education is that after 7 years of studying, the most of students doesn't learn. The most of students doesn't learn English. If you ask me why, the answers is that I'm going to show you. One of these is they don't connect their lives to the English learning, so it blocks them. Another fact, it's much more common, is the fear of making mistakes, grammar mistakes. They're afraid of making mistakes, and this is impacts on their learning. Another, in my opinion, very relevant fact is the cultural barriers. That the most of didactic books, the most of course books, for example, are not related to Brazilian students' environment. They don't feel that they are represented in the classroom, for example. The contents in the books are about American culture, about British culture. It doesn't matter if you are influenced by American cinema or British rock bands, for example. The English language doesn't impact the same way our students. They are influenced by the culture, but at the same time, they don't feel that they are part of this universe. And another very relevant fact is our students and even the teachers, we don't have sufficient exposure to the language. Okay, and we had a lack of support and feedback the most of times. This is our reality. Why did we realize that we could use idiomatic expressions to work in classroom? Exactly because it's a challenging the content to work in class, even for native English speakers, because the polysemy of the sentences and the phrases created to show the meanings that are that you just know if you have absolutely involved in a context, in a specific context. But something very interesting that because some words of English and Portuguese are has the same origin. So words that comes from Latin, from Greek, from French, that are part of the lexicon of Brazilian and Portuguese language is the same. Sometimes the same idiomatic expression that is used in the USA is exactly the same expression that it's used in Brazilian Portuguese. So that in this kind of activity, the students can connect and can understand that language, our language and their language is not our language and their language. It's a language for everybody. I guess that it's a very interesting point that this kind of uh, expression, the language expression can show us that, and in a different way, we can use the idiomatic expressions to show that some perspectives about the world in different languages makes us different people. We think different because we use language differently. And we need to understand how the use of the language can shape who we are. And we need to respect and understand that different languages produce different humans, and it's the most interesting part. The human people, we are exactly who we are because we use language differently. Um, that's my introduction. From now on, Denilson are going to show you how did he design the game. And after then, I'm come back to show the implementation of the game. Okay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Denilson, and I have been an English teacher for about 9 years now. I teach in Buriticupu, English, for high school students. Buriticupu is a small city in Maranhão. It's in northeast region of Brazil. Okay, so as I start talking to Kelson, I realized that we had a lot of in common, especially about our students. I could see that our students really love playing card games. I mean, all the time, they really love playing card games, especially cards like Uno, 20, 52 card decks, traditional card games. So we took this idea, this inspiration from this idea of our students. Just a moment. So we took inspiration from this popular card games that our students are playing all the time. Card games like, for example, Monopoly Bead. What else? Let me see. Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, TCG trading card games. The idea of collecting different cards is quite appealing to our students. Elson, could you please?
Trying. Just a minute, please.
Okay.
Sorry. Okay.
All right. All right. So I'm gonna focus on the game itself. So I'm gonna talk about the type of cards, how the game works, and the gameplay, and how the game can be used in the classroom. And also, I'm gonna show you a brief demonstration of the game. Okay, so basically our game consists of a total of 120 cards that are divided into three different types of cards: idiom cards, situation cards, and special slash action cards. Idiom cards are the most important cards in the game. They are the reason for the creation of the game in the first place. Situation cards how can I say this? They are very important because without them, the game doesn't work. They are part of the whole process. And special cards are cards that are going to bring some different directions during the gameplay. They are going to make the game less predictable, more less slow paced. Okay, guys, here we have a template of the three main types of cards that we're gonna find in the game. We have, for example, the first one we have the idiom card, the second we have the special cards, and the third we have situation card. I'm gonna talk about each of these cards in detail, but it's very interesting to say that our students are going to produce the game. Our students are going to design this game, so they have to follow this layout precisely when designing the game. Okay, let's take a look at the idiom card here, okay? Let's take a look at some specifications that are very, very important during the gameplay. So we have an idiom card here. We have an idiom card, fight like cats and dogs. The first thing that the player must have to pay attention is the category of the idiom. I mean, our idioms are divided into categories based on the words they are in the idiom. For example, like fight like cats and dogs. We have, for example, cats and dogs, and these words are directly related to animals. So this idiom in particular is related to the animals category. And we have the situation. The situation on the bottom, on the top of the card, on the left, you can see a couple. This is very important because part of the gameplay is that students must have to make a sentence related to the situation here. I'm going to explain this much later. Okay, number two, we have the illustration. The illustration, as you can see here, is quite literal. We have two animals and they are about to punch each other. And the illustration is here also to make the students memorize the idiom to help them to assimilate the idiom somehow. And in the middle, we have the title of the card. And number three, we have the points. The number of points can vary from card to card. And in the middle, we have the definition of the card. Excuse me. Okay. In the middle, we have the definition of the card. So let's imagine that the students, a player has never heard before about this idiom. So how could he understand this? Well, he has to take a look at this definition and get the main idea of the idiom. So this is going to help him a lot. In the five, we have the examples. Remember, one of the main actions of the game is to associate the idiom card to the situation card. And to do this, the student have to make sentences. Okay, Kelson. Kelson? Okay, this is quite interesting because at first sight, you may think that these cards look like the same. Yeah, they may look like the same, but we have some differences here. For example, if you take a look at the situation, you can see that in the first card, we have the icon of a couple, a man and a woman, but in the second card, we just have a man. So it's not equal. There's a difference, a slightly different here. So this card cannot be used in the same way. And if you take a look at the points, it's the same idea. The first card we have 25 points, and the second card we just have 20 points. So this kind of these different cards bring some kind of variety to the gameplay. Okay. All right, just to show you some examples of different categories that we chose during the process of making the game. We have, for example, weather, like the idiom storm in the teacup. We have food, like American pie. We have body, cross your fingers. You have money, like money talks. Elson, please. Could you
Change it this slide.
change the slide, please?
It was already changed. One more.
Okay. No, not at all. I guess that
That's it.
really.
We are here, and you asked me to change the next one.
Yeah, I guess that there is a problem on my internet connection, probably.
Oh, sorry.
Could you please?
Okay, you have explained the cards. Okay,
Yeah,
and now
exactly.
you need to go to the situation card.
Okay. Okay. Now it's the situation card on the screen. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right. We have the situation card. Situation card, it's quite important because this card is going to give the students a kind of hypothetical situation where the student is going to make the sentence. I'm going to explain this. But first, let's take a look at some important details on this card here. For example, once again, we have points. In this case, we have 50 points here. The points can vary, the number of points can vary, just like in the idiom card. Number two, we have the type of situation. You can see here that's in parentheses, and we have a man icon, which means that if the students want to associate this situation card with an idiom card, the player has to make a sentence that involve a man, just one man, because the situation card is about the man icon. And number three, you have the categories of the idioms. So the player, when he's going to use this card, when he's going to associate this card with the idiom card, the player has to pay attention to these two important details: the type of the situation and the category of the idioms. In this case, we have 8 different categories of the idioms in this card here, the situation card. Okay, Kelson, could you?
Okay.
Kelson?
For me, it's changed.
All right, all right. I'm sorry, guys, because my internet connection is not good today, like always. All right. Okay, so here we have different situations, different situation cards that once again, at first sight, you may think that the situation card, it looks like the same, but we have a slight difference here. As you can see, the points are different. The type of situation is equal, but the category of the idioms are not. If you take a look at the end of the topics, you have in the first card, for example, food, places, body. But on the second card, you have money, feeling, sports. So as you can see here, the cards can vary a lot. Depends on the card, depends on what is on the table when the players are playing the game. Kelson?
Okay, I have changed it.
Oh,
I guess it's a delay.
yeah, exactly. It's a little delay here.
Okay. Is all right now?
No, not at all. Okay.
Sorry.
Okay, all right. Okay, guys, as you can see here, we have different situation cards, different examples of situation cards. We have no couple situation, woman situation, immense situation. Let's take a look at the no couple, no woman or man situation because it's quite interesting. It's a situation that the student has to make a sentence that's not directly related to people. I'm going to explain this, okay? So let's imagine that the student has an idiom card like American Pie, for example, and he wants to associate American Pie to a no people situation. He has to make a sentence about not directly about people. Could be something like this. I'm gonna give an example. Could be something like watching Marvel movies, playing Marvel games, reading Marvel comics. This is so American Pie. Could be a very good example. As you can see here, I'm not talking directly about people, but It's a kind of general sentence. Okay? Okay, let's talk. I'm gonna talk about a little bit about special cards, action cards, how they work. Okay, guys. So basically, special cards, action cards, are cards that are responsible to bring something new to the table. As I said before, they are going to make the game less predictable. They are kind of an element of chance, an element of luck in the game. So they are responsible to make the gameplay more active, less slow-paced, and they are quite self-explanatory. If you take a look at these cards, as you read, you can understand exactly what kind of effect these cards are going to have during the gameplay. For example, the number one you have +2 cards, which means that if the player uses this card, he can draw 2 cards and add them to his hand, for example. Let's take a look at one example in particular. Kelson,
Is it working?
could you please?
For me, it's okay. What's the problem?
Okay. Okay, guys, just a moment. My internet is not okay. Not good.
For me, it's okay.
Could you please do it again, please?
Okay, I'll try to.
Okay, the next, please.
Next one.
Yeah. Okay, guys, let's take a look at this example here. Let's imagine that the play has the special card, I love myself, okay? I love myself, the card says, associate any idiom card that you have with yourself. Make sentences using the pronoun I. And by doing that, earn 5 extra points in addition to the points from the idiom card. Okay, guys, so the player can use this card and can associate this card with any idiom card he or she wants. For example, in this case here, the player is going to associate the idiom card go viral to with the special card I love myself, okay? So as you can see in the speech bubble, the player is going to say something like this, I, okay? He's using I because of the special card I love myself. I just recorded a video about studying idioms, and that video went viral. As you can see here, he's going to have the points from the idiom card. In this case, it's about 20 points from Go Viral. And he's also going to have the points from the special card here. In this case, 5 points. Excuse me? Okay, Kelson, could you?
Game mechanics.
Okay, guys, let's talk about a little bit about the game mechanics, how the game works, the gameplay, the general rules, okay? Okay, so basically our game can be played from 2 players to 6 players. So that means that if you want to the whole class to play, it's necessary to make copies of the game because in our reality in Brazil, our classes are overcrowded. Sometimes we have 40 and even 50 students in just one classroom. Could you please?
Yes.
Okay, so basically how to play the game, how the game is going to start. Okay, so basically the players are going to see who is going to start the game. They can roll the dice, for example, and each player is going to receive 2 cards from the idiom and special cards pile. As you can see here, the idiom special cards are going to be shuffled together. They're going to be a kind of a draw pile where the players are going to draw cards during the rounds. Okay, Kelson. Okay, so what is going to be the main action in the game? Okay, guys, let's take a look at the image here. In the center, as you can see, we have the situation card. On the left, we have the idiom special cards pile. And on the right, you have the situation card piles. So the main action that the player is going to do is to check if he or she has the right idiom card, the appropriate idiom card to be associated with the situation on the center of the table. Let's imagine that the player doesn't have the situation card. Remember, he can use special cards, okay? He can use special cards to change the game dynamics, to bring something new to the table, okay? Let's imagine a situation where the player don't have special cards or doesn't have the appropriate idiom card. He can pass his turn, okay? Okay, so how is the game is going to end? Well, basically the game is going to end when there are no more cards left on the situation pile and in the sorry in the special idioms pile. So there are no cards left, and the players are going to check who got the highest score of the game by making different associations during the rounds. Remember, the player has to associate the situation card with the idiom card here, okay? Okay, I'm gonna show you a brief demonstration of the game. I know it may sound a little complex, a little confusing, but remember, our students are used to play complex games, and this game is not so complex as it may sound, you know? Remember, the more they play, the easier it will become for them to understand the concept here, okay? Okay, so here we have the situation card on the center, on the table. On the left, once again, the idiom special cards pile. On the right, the situation cards pile. And let's imagine it's a simple match between player number 1 versus player number 2. And let's imagine now it's the player number 2 turn. Remember, the first thing that you have to pay attention is the situation card on the center. The situation card says it's a couple situation. We have different categories on the bottom of the card. In this case, we have animals. So the player number 2 can associate the idiom card, fight like cats and dogs, with the situation on the table because it matches perfectly in this case. The specifications are okay in these two cards here. So by doing this, the next step, sorry? Okay.
Is this?
By doing this, guys, the next step is to make a sentence related to the situation. Remember, it's about making associations and making sentence according to these specifications. So in this case here, a player could say something like this. Remember, it's a couple situation, right? So a player could say something like this. Mary and Paul used to fight like cats and dogs, but now they are real friends forever. You know, this could be a very good example. And if you pay attention to the points here, you have to analyze. For example, in the situation card, you have 50 points plus 25 points. In a total, the player in this round got a total of 75 points in this round. Okay, so the next question is, how are we going to use this game in our classroom? Well, in other words, how is going to be the implementation in the classroom? Well, guys, we have to follow a kind of some steps here. We have to follow a kind of activity schedule, as Kelson said in the beginning of the presentation. First of all, we're going to introduce the concept of the idioms to our students. Second, we're going to present the game to our students, explain how it works, the gameplay, the type of cards, the main elements of the game. And after, we are going to produce copies of the game, because remember, we have a lot of students, and not just one deck is going to be how can I say this? We have to make more copies, because one is not enough in this case, you know. And afterwards, we are going to the gameplay. The students are going to play, and the teacher is going to be a kind of monitor during this process. It's very important to say that as you can see here, the student, it's a very important part of the process of the making the game. He's directly linked to the game, so it's a kind of meaningful experience to the students. And just to finish, we have a kind of assessment to check if our students are really somehow assimilated the game they were studying, they were playing, and of course, the students' feedback to see if the game can be better, can be improved, some points that should be improved, okay? So Kelson is going to show us an example of the implementation in one of his classes.
Okay.
All right.
As you can see, this is one of the two situations when I used the game with my students. The prototype was designed by Denilson, and she shared with me. I'm shared with my students, and they customized the pictures, and they created the cards of the games. And I tried my first try. I used the game in the whole with the whole classroom, but because it's a large classroom and I need to supervise the students, the game working. It's a very complicated, but it's possible. It's not the most adequate situation, but it's possible. And this is I brought this picture to you because I guess how can I show you the most interesting part of this work. These are my students playing the game during the breaking time. They are in the library of the school, testing if the game really works. And after this situation, they gave me the feedback. Of course, this group of students are students that are fluent in English. Not fluent, but they can speak English in a more proficient way than the others. So this group has affinities among them. So it works better. Of course, when we use the game with the whole classroom, some students need help, and this help can be from me and the teacher, of course. But I used to put at least one English speaker student in different groups to help them to make it happen, okay? As a result of the implementation of this game, I can tell you that it worked better than my perspectives. It's not a research. It's just we are just telling you how we apply this kind of different approach. We try to do this in different ways day after day because of the reasons that I told you at the beginning of our presentations. Some students, as Denilson told us, are able and they have the skills to play games much more sophisticated than this. So for them it was easy, and they were able to give me a feedback and telling me where we need to improve the game and what it's interesting in the game. It is a very good experience. So we are able for answers. This is our presentation.
Thank you so
So
much
much.
for your presentation and for all the ideas that you have presented. This is amazing that um, working with idioms is always challenging for ESL learners. And they're always like worried that they don't know enough vocabulary. But introducing such activities in the classroom and games to help them learn more vocabulary and also use the vocabulary that they already know. So this is wonderful. Thank you so much for presenting this. Now we will open the floor for questions, answers, comments, ideas, and maybe how you used how you used games in the classroom, especially with teaching English. But before I do that, I'm gonna stop the recording so that we have more time to go on with the discussions.